Most people never build their dream physique because they believe they are only supposed to bulk and cut once. The reality is most natural lifters build their physique over 3 to 5 bulk and cut cycles, and if you understand this one concept, building muscle becomes a whole lot simpler. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to know whether you should bulk or cut, how to eat, how to train, and how to actually build muscle naturally without overcomplicating it. If this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Myth. I'm currently on a bulking journey. Let's get straight into this video. Step number 1, you need to determine your starting point. Everyone has a different starting point, which means you're going to need to figure out exactly what you need to do before you build that physique and build the muscle that you're going to build. All you need to know is an estimation of where you are at in terms of body fat. I'll put a little diagram here. Just take a photo of yourself, compare it, and see exactly where you are on this. Me personally, currently I'm anywhere between 13% to 15% body fat, so I'm still bulking. I started off my bulking journey around 10% body fat. When you compare yourself, if you're underneath 15% body fat, you're relatively lean, and I would suggest you go on a bulk at this point in time. If you're roughly 20% or anything above, what I would suggest you do is you go ahead and you cut, so you lean down. If you're in between 15 to 20%, the decision is yours to make. You can bulk up towards 20%, or you can choose to lean down before going on a serious bulk. Step number 2, now you know whether you're bulking or cutting. You need to determine what your daily calorie intake is going to be. If you're bulking, I would suggest you go for a 300 to 500 calories surplus, which means you're eating above your maintenance calories. If you find that you're struggling to put on weight, for example, when I started, if I ate 300 to 500 calories, I wasn't putting weight on as easily as I would have liked to. So currently my surplus is about 1,000 calories. Incrementally increase your calories if you find that your weight is not moving up week on week. If on the other hand you are cutting, what I suggest you do is the complete opposite. You go on a calorie deficit, so you cut your maintenance calories by 300 to 500. What I suggest is always start off with the lower threshold of 300, and if you don't notice the needle moving in about a week or two, then you can increase that deficit to about 500. If you are cutting, I do not recommend you go on a significant deficit, because what this will lead to you is losing muscle mass on top of the fat. So it will leave you at a worse starting point. Your goal on a cut is very simple. You want to maintain as much of the muscle mass that you currently have and lose the fat. Step number 3, your protein intake needs to be on point. The general rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. On the low end, you can have anywhere between 0.7 grams to 1 gram. As long as you're around that ballpark, you're good. If you're bulking, I suggest you stay on the higher end. If you're cutting, I'd also suggest staying on the higher end. But if you do want to play around with it, you can hit 0.7 grams as a bare minimum. So for example, I'm currently about 145 pounds, so I'll have 150 grams of protein. That's just what I've been doing because I'd like to always be in a surplus. You need to ensure that your protein intake stays consistent and you hit it every single day. This ensures that your muscles are recovered properly, and also it ensures that your muscles have enough protein to actually build muscle and grow. Step number 4, your daily activity. What I recommend, whether you're bulking or cutting, is your maintenance of daily activity. You need to get your 10k steps in. The reason why this is a general rule of thumb, which I suggest you do whether you're bulking or cutting, is because number 1, it's good for your cardiovascular health, and number 2, it helps with insulin sensitivity. So essentially, by doing this, your body composition will be better in the sense that you'll be able to keep more muscle mass as you grow and reduce the amount of fat gain that you have. Step number 5, I'm going to talk about your training. This is very simple. Choose a program. It doesn't matter what program you choose. Make sure it's one that you enjoy. You want to stick to one program. You want to track all your lifts so you can track your progressive overload. You don't want to switch out the exercises in the program frequently. You can choose it. Let's say you prefer easy bar skull crushes over rope extensions on your tricep. If you switch it, just stick to one for a long period of time. So this way, you can consistently track the weight you are doing on the exercise. When you are training and you have your exercise down and dialed in, you want to make sure that you're training close to failure. And if it's safe to do so, go towards failure. On certain exercises, you can go beyond failure and do partials. Exercises that I do partials on specifically will be like lateral raises, bicep curls, and triceps. Anything that's somewhat isolation movements, I tend to go partials to failure. On to the next step. You need to progressively overload. So week on week, session on session, you want to be either doing more reps of the same weight or increasing the weight. You don't want to make too huge of a jump, but initially if you are a beginner, you can make much larger jumps because your strength gain is much more rapid. But eventually you reach a point where you go from maybe putting 5 pounds on top to maybe putting 2.5 pounds. So as long as you're incrementally increasing and progressively overloading, that is how you track your progress. And because your strength gain will correlate with your muscle being built and being grown. The more muscle mass you build, the more weight you can move. Step number 7, when to cut. So what you'll notice is, as your muscle gain slows down, your fat gain will increase. And this will happen roughly between 18 to 20% body fat. So once you reach this point, you're going to go on a slight calorie deficit, the same cutting procedure that I just explained in step number 3, where you do a 300 to 500 calorie deficit, you'll cut down, you'll lean down. This will reveal the muscle that you've built and it will shred off that fat. And then once you have got down to the body fat percentage that you're happy with, what you can do now is look at yourself and you can decide, okay, I'm happy with where I'm at, so I'm going to eat at maintenance or slight calorie surplus so I can maintain my physique and carry on building muscle slowly. Or you can go on another bulk and another cut cycle. Usually for natural lifters it will take 3 to 5 cycles, it just depends on your genetics. For myself personally, I've spent years just believing that if I did one bulk cycle and then I cut, I thought I'd have my dream physique. But what I've noticed is, over these last few years, from going from 43 kg to 60 kg, back down to 50 kg to now where I'm currently at 63 kg, what I realize is it's not just one cycle, it's just the same cycles repeated again and again and again. Another misconception that I had is I'll need to keep pushing my calories up to put on weight, but that is completely false, because if you maintain a calorie surplus, your body will continue to put on weight because you're eating in a surplus. Besides that, if you understand that, you'll understand building muscle is a lot simpler than what people make out to be. Just keep it simple. Building muscle isn't that complicated. Literally just eat your protein, track your calories, train hard, make sure you're progressively overloading, and last but not least, stay consistent long enough and the results will come. That's how you actually build muscle naturally.